off the beaten path with Brian and Jamie on Adventures Over 55. You know, adventure trekking isn't just for people in their 20s with no body fat. No, you too can get healthy, rekindle that romance, and experience America in a way you never have. You'll visit destinations you never dreamed existed, discover little-known or altogether forgotten places, and meet unforgettable people. So let's go on a fun, action-packed tour that's full of surprises and laughs on Adventures Over 55.
If I go like this, yeah, I can see us now. There we are.
Established in the 1860s by the Mormons and deserted in the 1940s, Grafton, Utah is neatly tucked away in the shadows of Zion National Park. Imagine having a whole town to yourself. Ah! It's gonna be fun.
That's too funny. Oh, what's in here? What's this little shed?
You have any interesting tidbits for us?
Something to be said about all this peace and tranquility. Such beautiful scenery, so relaxing.
There's just something about this place that it just makes you feel whole again. You can't really put it into words.
After a day of hiking and trekking and scaring and rock hounding, we are so looking forward to our stay at the Jacob Lake Inn. Just a few more hours to drive and we'll be on the northern rim of the Grand Canyon. Just beautiful. I mean, what do you do when you wake up and then you realize that this, at least for however many days you decide to be here, is your reality? No sirens, no crowds, no phones. There's not even any Wi-Fi up here, so forget it, you're not getting any of your work or your emails. It's just absolute peace, tranquility, and to whatever extent or measure you want, solitude.
I don't even have my face on yet. I'm gonna scare the wildlife.
Everything okay? You alright? Did you sleep okay?
I haven't had this much heat in a year, burning up from water.
Look, we gotta go. It's the Grand Canyon. We're at Jacob Lake Inn in northern Arizona. We're gonna not sleep, we're gonna do. That's the whole thing. Look.
So, what's the agenda for today?
I think we should go to the Pink Coral Sands. I think we should go to the Vermillion Cliffs.
Sounds like a plan. Right now we're going to do the North Rim, though, and hopefully take some drone footage. What do you think about that?
That'd be great.
Actually, no, you're not allowed to use drones in national parks. Well, we finally made it here to the north rim of the Grand Canyon, and we're at the Bright Angel lookout point, and it is spectacular. Just to look down there and think about what might have transpired over millions of years. I mean, if they had a transporter, I'd love to go down. We're not going to be doing any hiking like that today.
Beam us down, Scotty.
Yeah, that would be a good use of that technology.
Yeah.
A friend of mine has a German wife, and apparently she got down and back in 6 hours, but they're used to marching, I suppose. So, just incredible. What do you think about when you think about the Grand Canyon?
I think I could make it down there in 5 minutes and back.
That's if you were doing Molly. Now, don't say anything like that.
Where else can you dangle off of a rock except for the North Rim? What I like about the North Rim of the Grand Canyon, there's not a lot of people here like there is on the south. And there's plenty of different
pictures and views to take. Fabulous.
That just also means, though, that there's fewer people that can find you. Okay. You're doing great. Keep going. Keep going. Okay, you're doing great. Keep going. Keep going.
If aliens ever decide to make an appearance on our planet, I'm convinced it's going to be here. Located on a couple 100,000 acres between Utah and Arizona off of 89A, the Vermillion Cliffs are straight out of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It's an awesome site. It is said that it is impossible to replicate some of the pigments in the red rock. I'm not sure whether or not that's true, but we do have them all to ourselves.
So after a day of traveling, we are both very hungry and tired. Still another 60 miles to Flagstaff, but we've just been it's just been like eye candy the whole way. When we were at the Navajo Bridge, we were told about this place.
So now we're going to go in and see how great the food is. We've heard it's great, and we just asked the people who left, and they said it was really good as well.
And what do they have there? Navajo tacos and fry bread. Let's go inside.
And I'm sure they have a lot more. That's the only two things we know about for right now.
What are you talking about? Like methamphetamine?
Come and join us.
In 1911, brothers Hubert and C.D. Richardson established the Cameron Trading Post, where Navajo and Hopi locals would barter items like wool, blankets, and livestock in exchange for dry goods. Now, over 100 years later, the Trading Post includes one of the largest markets for Native American jewelry, art, clothing, and souvenirs. Everything's available for the weary traveler, including a hotel, gas station, and restaurant, which boasts perhaps the best fry bread in the Southwest.
I think we've had a very long day. Awesome day for sure, but we still got another 60 miles to get to Flagstaff, and we just had to eat. We heard about this place, the Cameron Trading Post, up at the Navajo Bridge, ways back after the Vermillion Cliffs. These are Navajo tacos, and they're served on fry bread, and they look just absolutely delicious.
They're delicious and they're huge.
You know, there's a lot of spirit stuff going on here in the Navajo Nation, and that's what I'm getting from this. I'm pretty sure that we're going to wind up having a spiritual experience with these Navajo tacos.
And I'll probably be bringing half of mine home.
I won't.
We leave the breathtaking vistas of the Grand Canyon behind on our way to Winslow, Arizona, and the Petrified Forest, where we'll start our Route 66 leg of the journey. Every few miles, there's something to see, from mid-century neon-lit signs to an ample number of roadside attractions. You really can get your kicks on Route 66.
Small-town America still exists, which we're finding out here in Winslow, Arizona, on Route 66. Didn't I see you standing on the corner?
Take it easy.
Lots of great stuff to see if you're on your way to the Painted Desert or to Gallup, New Mexico.
Giddy up.
No, Gallup. Well, if you're into petrified wood like Jamie is, you either go to the steam room at the gym or you come here to the Petrified Forest.
I'll take the second of the two.
We're going to go see what the significance of petrified wood is, but it goes back to the dawn of the dinosaurs, and there seems to be lots of it. What do you say we go see some petrified wood?
I'd like to see something younger than you. Sure, let's do that. That was good.
Everything in the Petrified Forest is, well, petrified. Everything and everyone. But one of the best things about the Petrified Forest isn't so much the colorful petrified wood, the rocks and minerals. It's the space. You can turn completely around and all you'll see is horizon. Now, I could quote a bunch of scientific facts, but you can get those online or get yourself a guidebook when you get there. Trust me, though, when I say the best thing that you're going to encounter is probably yourself.
Oh wait, go towards the right.
Okay.
Get in the right lane.
Want to get in the right lane?
Yeah.
Can't see out of the damn mirror. There's the Roadkill 66 Cafe. General store.
All right, pull in here.
The general store?
Yeah.
Seligman, Arizona is on one of the few remaining strips of Route 66.
pretty much in the middle of nowhere, but as we soon find out, it's worth going to.
Howdy, folks. Jim's the name, and welcome to Seligman, Arizona, the birthplace of historic Route 66. If you're thinking about staying for a night or so, be sure to check out the historic Route 66 Motel just a few doors down. The mighty nice folks there will set you up and treat you like family. Speaking of family, anyone seen my dog Ace?
This was definitely part of the Old West and was thriving until about, I don't know, the 20s or 30s. Once Interstate 40 arrived, though, these communities were all but abandoned.
Green Acres is the place for me. Farming is the life for me.
Jamie, what are you doing?
I'm going to Green Acres. Can you believe all? She said weird stuff happens in this areas and stuff. I'm thinking, oh my God! Now I just accidentally stole some cards. I go, I think, oh my God, this is having weird things happen today.
Yeah, it's a strange day. Sadly, we have to leave Route 66 behind, but we're on our way to Lake Havasu City, which is routinely voted to be one of the best communities in America. And we run into this fellow, author Buck Dopp, who's going to tell us all about it.
Lake Havasu City is one of the best kept secrets in the Southwest. A lot of people come here for boats, for water sports. It's an excellent place to use personal watercraft. We have the national races are here. We have Balloon Fest here every February.
Oh, I'd love
and
to do that.
it's just a wonderful place to raise a family, and we're really, really happy, my wife and I live here. And as you can see, my dog comes here almost every day to swim in the lake.
And your dog likes it too.
Yeah, he likes it too.
Lake Havasu City is awesome. I'm going to do this segment by myself because Jamie's talking to some bikers. But there's so much stuff to see. I mean, you've got beach stuff, you've got mountain stuff. I mean, you've got everything. In fact, I wish we were staying a couple of more days. Now, the water is a little cold, so I'm not going to be going in. But
A little cold? This is freezing.
Yep.
Just a few more hours and we'll be in Palm Springs, and we'll be able to settle in and relax at the timeshare. Just going to take a quick break, and it's a good thing we did. Right in here, right? Look at this. Those tanks back there.
Look what we found. The General George S. Patton Museum in a little place called Chiricahua Summit, California. Over there's the museum. We're going to go in there and take a look, but look at all of these World War II era tanks. You can just probably go up and touch them.
What could go wrong? Well, thankfully nothing. In fact, the tank graveyard was yet another pleasant surprise. The incredible people at the great General George S. Patton Museum have done a tremendous job of preserving his legacy. Believe me, where else can you hang off a tank?
We can't film inside, unfortunately, but I can tell you, having gone in there, there's just so much for you to see about an incredible individual who is partially responsible for the country that we have today. And the history basically is that they tapped Patton to develop a desert strategy, and this part of Southern California in the desert, Chiricahua Summit, is identical almost in terrain to where the North African theater was, where they were going to engage the Germans. Why they were fighting in North Africa, I have no idea, but you know, when you're a megalomaniac, I guess like Hitler, he was going to take over the whole world. Think that's Palm Springs. We saw things like San Bernardino, San Jacinto, Mountain Santa Rosa, San Diego that way, Arizona that way. I mean, we're definitely way south in Southern California, but
you can see the beautiful mountains, the beautiful sunsets, the different colors.
and the
Wow.
switchbacks that we came up, we were just going
crazy side-winding switchbacks all the way up that side for about 40 miles, and now we have another, I don't know, 40 miles back down the other way. I hear that there's a street fair in Palm Springs with artists and all the local
that
restaurants.
sounds like fun.
Yeah, so I know we're going to be hungry when we get there.
That's for sure.
Let's just hope we make it. Consider this a message in the bottle if anybody finds this. I had a girlfriend when I was much younger. Her name was Erin, and she was so... Well, anyway, she had grandparents that lived in Palm Springs. And I would always say, why are you going out to the desert? What's there to do? Well, now, all these years later, I have my answer. There's a thriving arts community, and the people are terrific. You've got the mountains, you've got the beach. We also came upon a street fair, and a metal sculptress designed our logo for the show. I also got my bell rung. All right, Susan Durazo, come here. I'm not going to bite you. You're the one with the blowtorch. Susan Durazo, you're a metal sculptor.
Yes, I am.
And you just designed the logo for Adventures Over 55. Tell us how you came up with this amazing idea.
Well, I started in Arizona, and I met a gentleman who did metal sculpting as well. And he handed me the torch one day.
Literally?
Literally. He says, meet me
He passed
tomorrow.
the torch to you.
He passed the torch to me, and I took it and I ran.
Mojave Desert.
All he needs is his motorcycle now. He's got the glasses. Now he's got to buy the motorcycle.
If I knew how to motorcycle, I'd be going on those dunes, but the way to get there is some rough roads. And I'll tell you, we've been doing this in a 4-cylinder Nissan. Granted, it's a new car, but I would not want to do this again. We had a lot of moments there where we were quite literally like, uh-oh, what did we get ourselves into? Can you eat at a time like this?
I don't know how anybody could work out here in this heat.
It's not that bad. It's like 87 degrees actually.
But you can feel the heat from the sun.
There's not a cloud in the sky. It is bright. But again, why don't we go take a look over at the visitor center and
yeah, let's take a look. See what we can
see
find.
what Kelso Depot is all about.
See what we can find.
It took a lot to win World War II, and outposts, settlements like Kelso Depot were very instrumental in helping the United States cull the resources necessary to win World War II. At the visitor center, there's 2 floors of exhibits about the railroad itself, as well as the terrain and the nature that surrounds this settlement, but as well as the private lives of the people that worked here.
In the other room, I think you're going to get a chance to giddy up. Come on, come with me.
What we'll do for a gag.
Let me go. I've been through the desert on a horse alone. Felt good to get out of the rain. In the desert, you can't remember your name, 'cause there ain't no one for to give you no pain. La, la.
All right, we'll let you know. So why Kelso Depot? I'm sure that's the question on everybody's mind. Why here? Well, back in the pre-World War II days, it was all about rail, and not like the kinds of diesel locomotives that they have now. In those days, you had, I guess, steam engines and, other kinds of locomotive trains that needed to refuel and be serviced, and these helper trains, because of the mountains, they would be tugging all this ore, and so they needed sort of like the equivalent of, what are those called? The tugs. Those are like rail tugs. And so they set up Kelso in the 1920s, I think it was, built in 1924. And not much of it left.
Look what I found on the ground. You left your Rocky Bowinkle glasses.
Now, we are at the Kelso jail. This is actually the real original Kelso jail, which was used to basically hold unruly individuals, drunks and so forth. And it was actually, I think, in use until 1985, so about 32 years ago now. Are you going to behave? Seriously, think about all the things you've done and how many apologies you owe me.
Well,
I've got you in the original Kelso jail. What are you going to do? I mean, you have anything to say to
I'm
yourself?
sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to throw you in the river. It just was an accident.
No, it wasn't. How
So-
long do you think you could really stay in there if somebody threw a padlock on you?
Well, I like the fact that I can see and there's a nice breeze, but there's no snacks or anything to drink.
You and your snacks and candy. What do you think,
And
guys?
there's no ladies' room in here. So I probably couldn't last real long.
What do you think,
But
guys?
Brian, let me out. I promise I'll be good. I promise.
What do you think, guys? Should I let her out?
I'll be good only for 5 minutes though.
The original Kelso jail.
Isn't this bizarre? You have all of this beach.
Where does it come from? It's so fucking dry. Where does the water come from?
I don't know.
Colorado River?
Maybe.
Why do they call it the Salt Sea? What's the deal?
I don't know why everybody doesn't come here.
Well, there's a reason for that. Bombay Beach is a small community on the Salton Sea, which is the largest lake in California. It sits directly on top of the San Andreas Fault, yet 250 people still call Bombay Beach home. Eclectic doesn't begin to describe the mixture of houses, some of which are well manicured with desert cactus, new windows, while the rest are dilapidated or abandoned. There are rusted boats and broken down campers everywhere, and which are covered in graffiti. In the 1950s, Frank Sinatra, the Beach Boys, and other celebrities took up residence at the Salton Sea, but developers, who at one point sold 32,000 homes, couldn't compete with Mother Nature. Agricultural runoff from Colorado River farming communities brought overflows of salt-rich soil into the lake along with pesticides. And by the 1970s, rising salinity levels caused the fish to die and tourism as well. By the 1980s, the beachside resorts were ghost towns. Still, the Salton Sea is perhaps the largest and most important bird habitat in North America, with more than 375 bird species having been recorded in the Salton Sea, including raptors, bald eagles, and peregrine falcons.
My agent said the Opera House at Bombay Beach. I didn't expect this. I could fit more people in my living room. I can't wait to get a hold of my agent. Well, I guess I better audition anyway. Werd ein Augenblick, die Rache will dich kühlen, dich rufen dein Geschick in seinem Herzen wühlen. Oh, vorne großes Glück in seinem Herzen wühlen, oh, vorne, oh, vorne.
That's the best opera I've ever seen. Oh my
Schon
goodness.
war ich,
Sold out
schon
show.
war ich nah im Staube.
Oh, that's too funny. All we need is some popcorn.
Oh man, that's good. One of the things that I think we have to impress upon our viewers is that you can get out there. It doesn't matter if you have some body fat. It doesn't matter if you're moving a little slower. We're not climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, and we're not going to Mongolia or these fantastic places. This is right here in the USA. You're going to get healthy. You're going to rekindle your romance, and we're going to explore. So if you want to know more about Adventures Over 55, visit our website at adventuresover55.com. Now, I think I'm going to go that way. You go that way?
I need a map of the desert. I'm looking for that buried treasure.
That sea looks pretty good over there. I think I'm going to take a dip.
You want to swim? You want to swim to sea? All right. I'm going to look for some buried Indian treasure or something out here.
I see a couple of Harleys over there, too. See you next time.
Here's a first look at all the great shows coming to Transparent DTV, making television history.
I think it's a split personality. He's a teetotaler, mama's boy. There's something that's tapped into his consciousness, something that happened a long time ago.
I'm sure if she was home right now, she would want to thank you herself, but I gotta get up.
No hay nadie al otro. Tampoco hay ningún bacalao en el horno.
Like all the other users, son of a slugs, thinking that you can use Prince Billy to open doors? Well, guess what? Those doors are locked!
I'll give you the address, and you can take care of my problem.
I've killed someone, Father. Make that 2. Or was it 4? And that was just in Florida. 8, 9, 10. I'm losing count.